So hello everyone, my name is Mona Audi-Montaldier. I'm Vice President of the Digital Hub of HEC Alumni. So today we're gonna discuss the topic of ROI for generative AI. Well, honestly, measuring the precise ROI today is challenging since the massive adoption of Gen AI is recent. Let's be honest, but we can only estimate it by simulating potential cost and value realization across a range of Gen AI integration scenarios. So some companies, such as McKinsey, Alstom, have already anticipated various use cases and business models. How can we create value with Gen AI? What are the use cases and metrics? What are the new revolutionary applications in the creative economy? Tonight, all these questions will be explored by Mohamed Mazouni, Digital Transformation and AI Director at Alstom. So Mohamed is going to share his experience and use case at Alstom.
Thank you for welcoming us here in this conference, Mona. Very good topic and very critical for the business. We are going to see how we can create real added value with the generative AI. It means how we can get a positive return on investment, how we can prioritize our investment in order to go straight to the goal, reducing the cost, reducing the time, and enhancing the quality of our deliverables. In this slide, I would like just to show something related to the hype cycle for emerging technologies from Gartner. And you can see in last year, generative AI was really like new and coming into the picture. And you can see on the right hand, in 2023, it is already on the top. Okay, so as it was really trend, a lot of buzz, a lot of communication on it, a lot of dreams as well. And we will see soon a lot of disappointment. Okay, I'm waiting for the plateau, but the lead time has not changed between 2022 and 23. We are expecting to have real results impacting our business between 2 and 5 years. Okay, 2 and 5 years. So I will do a focus today on what we call the production system. We have the target system, which means the product that we are selling to our customers. It can be a train for Alstom, it can be a signaling system, but the production system is the application layer, the methods, the processes, the tools that we are using in order to realize and implement this system. Today, I'm doing a focus just on the production system. Okay. So in this analysis coming from Standish Group International, what they're saying that poor requirements and poor specifications are behind 37% of the quality cost delay degradation. It means that if you are not specifying very well, you will not achieve your target. First of all, you will not deliver on target, you will not deliver on time, and you will not deliver on budget, by the way. So let's say what is written in blue, I don't know if the colors are here, maybe the screen is more bigger. What is in blue, we can address it with artificial intelligence and mainly generative AI. On the right hand, this matrix is very important and very interesting, coming from National Institute, American NIST. And you can see here that detecting the deviation and defects when you are about specifying your system will cost around $80. But when you detect it, when the system is already running, the software is already in operation, or the train is already running, it will cost 30 times more. What is the sizing now of a standard CBTC project or signaling a project? In the signaling project, we are dealing with 40,000 to 100,000 requirements. It is so easy now to understand that if we don't work properly from the beginning, we will have no margin, no profitability on our project. So now another metrics that you can retain is one pool requirement equals 1 man day. If you are working in France, 600 to 700 euros per day. So it is very important to find some levers to put in place a defense in depth in order to stop the deviations. This is coming from McKinsey. I don't know if the colleague from McKinsey is here.
He's coming.
He's coming. Okay. So I will stand up in order to see the screen because it is so small from here. So here what you can see, very interesting analysis, by the way, economical analysis. You can see that 3 domains, advanced manufacturing, high tech, and what is related to AI, to IT is very important in terms of impact. One thing I can observe here is that sales, marketing, product, research and development, all what is related to software. Here it is. Okay. So software engineering are the domains where we need to invest significantly in order to realize a good return on investment. In terms of the quick, fast return on investment, software engineering and when it comes to pure IT or to product development is the right one. I have a video to show you just after how we can build very quickly an application, software application with just a few clicks. Okay. The fact that the blue is uniform here under marketing and sales means that the reuse can be maximized. It means that you can develop one application and you can use it whatever is the domain, agriculture, banking, etc. So this is the meaning I can understand through this corollary. The first application or the first use case, real use case, bringing real added value that I would like to highlight today is what we call knowledge 360. You know that the matrix is saying that our employees or employees in general are spending 25% of their time in searching the information. So is it possible to have this information at our DAC? It means reachable at any time, anywhere, any device, and any content. This is exactly what you would like to achieve, and it is achievable thanks to fundamental AI first, and second to generative AI. You can search for your document, you can search for information, you can ask a question, you can search for experts in your company to help you, to support you to do something. You can search for skills, and so on and so forth. This is another use case when we start, let's say, dealing with a new tender. To give you an information, we are dealing with hundreds of tenders per year. Okay, so we are under pressure, we're under rush, and we have also the pressure to win, to be awarded. So you need to manage them properly. Why? Because you need to detect the non-conformities, the gaps impacting your development. Okay, to have the right pricing and to see properly if this is a good opportunity for you or not. This example, we are taking a new tender, we are pushing it in the machine. In this machine, you have all the equivalent projects, okay? And we are doing similarity research. Then after using generative AI on the top of that in order to summarize what are the main differences. And just to give you an information that a human being cannot do this kind of operation, we are doing like 8.6 million of comparisons between text in less than 30 minutes. Okay. And the key takeaways can be, in order to maximize the reuse and the carryover from an existing project, let's go with that one. This is the best fit. Otherwise, if you rebuild your design from the wrong project that you are taking as a reference, you will have big gaps, you will have big non-conformities, and you need to discuss and negotiate with your customer. Remember what I said at the beginning on the quality of authoring good specifications and requirements. And here what you can see in green, in blue, the quality of the requirement as written by the experts, as is, okay, in existing specification. Then after we have rephrased, we have used GPT 3.5 in order to rephrase those requirements. Okay, given a prompt to state, respect those rules of authoring good requirement coming from INCUSI, International Council for System Engineering. So with the red one, you can see that the average, we are winning, let's say, around 15 pounds to have good requirement. And with GPT-4, we are winning 25 pounds. It means the requirement having a quality of 60%, it will become 85%. What does it mean? It means that all the receivers of that requirement will understand exactly what they are implementing, the ones that will test it, the ones that will develop it, And the customer himself, he will understand what you are doing at the end. And you can see on the right hand, like a distribution, green plus it is dark green, it is good, plus it is dark red, it is bad. And from, you can see the movement of the colors of the trend from the manual specification to the GPT 3.5 to 4. This is just nice to have, I would say, generating some mockups for trains using Dolly from OpenAI services. This is for the train, and we have also, just to give you an idea of the interior of the train. You can, for example, ask for an interior design in the similar to Tesla, or stuff like that, to A380 first class, stuff like that. So it is, for instance, not major. This is my opinion. You will see the key takeaways at the end of the presentation, but I think there is a good future for that. Here you will see a demonstration video of 3 minutes on how we are able to generate a code source in very short time. By the way, this application, simplistic, I assume, but it will simulate the movement of the train between several stations, stuff like that, started from scratch. So this is problem statement that I just introduced. We would like to generate the code for the train route optimization. Here is my IDE. The error here. Code is corrected. Now we will generate test cases in order to test our application. Test cases are generated. Then I would like to go further to develop the scripts of those test cases in order to do also automated testing. Okay. Now I will run the test cases. All test-based. Now I will beautify the application by developing the JavaScript interface. Okay, here we go. And this, the developer is that guy. Please stand up. Shantanu, thank you. Now, this is about software code generation that we are using effectively. In fact, it's an application that we have developed in-house named Lifescience, that stands for Intelligent Services and Engineering Suite. We started that development 3 years ago. Okay, and we have integrated GPT-4 inside the Lifescience in order to do what we have seen just before. And now I will show you some additional use cases, bringing real added value as well. Okay. Let's finish with some key takeaways. So the key takeaways from after experimenting OpenAI services in an industrial context, very critical. We are developing very critical application for our customers. I would say GPT and mainly GPT-4 is a must-have. And when you fine-tune it, with your private data, it will become really powerful. Okay. It is 20 times more costly than GPT 3.5 for sure, and maybe comparing with also some other models that some of them are also for free. But I think if we go in a real implementation, we will mobilize development team, etc., in order to develop a new application. If you are not sure about your return on investment or your business case is not positive, you stop. Don't use any model. But if you are sure about your use case, for example, that one, augmenting our software development community. Even if you use GPT-4 and it is costing 20 times more, that's fine. It depends on what you will gain at the end. Must have also, I said, and you need, and you need to have it in private infrastructure or private cloud infrastructure, and you need to use it, let's say, inside your internal kitchen. You need to have an in-house application. You need also to be aware about some bias, some hallucination of that model. That's why for some content, you need to have like a human in the loop. For cyber, legal, and IP aspects, Codex is very good, okay, but GPT-4 is, the model is more powerful. So we are doing what we are doing with GPT-4. Dolly is not mandatory for me, it's nice to have, and must not have, I will finish with this, ChatGPT, the public one, shall be forbidden for professional use because it reuses your data. I will finish with this, how to embrace the revolution of AI. I have 5 tips to share with you. The first one is to drive what I call think big and act small digital transformation strategy, fostering return on investment. And you need to be driven by the investment. You will invest €1, how much you will get. This is the most important thing to maximize the profitability. And quick wins doesn't mean POCs. We need to avoid having POCs everywhere, having development in silos, having plenty of leaders in the company, experimenting plenty of things. It needs to be harmonized, one big budget and one big initiative. Think big and act small. Create a leading target operating model with a vertical organization as a common place for double hat champions. What does it mean? The guys that are able to understand the AI power and limitations, and also understand the business needs, because we are here to solve problems or to innovate. Okay, one of the 2 cases. I said already on the in-house skill set on AI and data in order to build in-house applications. And one thing I think is very important is to structure all this as per cross-domain tribes. We are applying the S3 model, sociocracy 3.0, very important one. And we are classifying the opportunities of AI as per cross-domain in order to have like a representative from the cross-domains, like finance, like project management, application lifecycle or product lifecycle management, etc. And at the end, I would suggest to mobilize what I call the AI champions on real operational projects and programs, and not just on R&D stuff. Okay, very important. And to mobilize them at early stage. Why not, for example, when designing new products, to have them within the design team in order to bring their added value in terms of new design, smart. So this is very important, because today they are coming very late to do some data science on the logs, etc. It is too late. So we need to have them at the early stage, from bit to obsolescence phase. And I think this is my last slide. Okay.
Thank you, Mohamed.
You're welcome.
Great presentation, really.
Thank you.
Very cool. C'est concret. And this is a very good transition to set the stage for Eric Hazan, a senior partner at McKinsey, a great partners, who will give us an overview on the global potential value of Gen AI with a focus on the impact in the workplace, right?
Super. I don't know what I can add because the presentation was very complete actually, and but I will try to give some broader numbers. Okay.
It's different view, yes, different angle.
This is some extract of a report that we published in June, and that is probably our 6th or 7th report on artificial intelligence. And you may remember that the first report that we published on this with the McKinsey Global Institute was in 2017. And what we did at the time was quite interesting. I think we had great models about the impact of AI and so on. And what I wanted to tell you is that what we did with this report is that we advanced all our model by 10 years. So it's very rare that we do that, you know. Usually I'm trying to explain that the impact of technology is going to be a bit late, that it will take time, that the impact will be delayed. But for the first time with generative AI, we advanced the impact. Why is that? We have advanced our models. Why is that? Okay. In the past 5 years, the investment on artificial intelligence have been multiplied by 4. The investment on generative AI, which is a part of artificial intelligence, have been multiplied by 40. Okay, it's like you put an incredible pressure on a small surface. And so, of course, the outcome that people got is very impressive. So a few elements. Okay, here you see that so we did a model to try to gauge the impact on productivity and value. We did another model, so value creation, a second model on the impact on work and automation, and we'll get to that. And then we did another model to try to model the impact in time, the different timing scenario of the impact of AI and generative AI. So here you see the impact in terms of value creation. It doesn't give as an absolute number an incredible view, but what you should remember is this is more or less an addition of the GDP of UK every year to the global GDP. So it's quite impressive in terms of impact. Then you see the 4 areas of impact of generative AI. And that should ring a bell if you compare this to the presentation that you just had. You know, marketing and sales, software engineering, we just discussed that, customer operation and R&D, and of course, plenty of other use cases. Okay, it has impact. I was discussing with the CFO of a big corporation just very recently. He wants to automate all the production of its annual report with a generative AI. Of course, it doesn't have a big impact, but it's quite impressive. So to make it simple, these 4 kind of blocks of use cases are representing 75% of the total impact. Okay, so if we move one step ahead, if you move one step ahead and you try to understand what is the impact on the workforce, you see on the right the combined effect of AI and generative AI, theoretical impact on jobs. Okay, so let's take activities. Okay, 70% of the current activities of a developed economy can be automated by more than 50%. Okay, so that's theoretical, but that gives you just an indication of the potential impact of what we just saw. Okay, so that's so. Of course, so we just saw that it's going to have a huge impact in terms of value creation. It is potentially having a huge impact on activities and workforce. But of course, the key question is actually the timing. So let's see if it works. Yes, it does. So here you see that we moved our models by 10 years. But the real thing is that, of course, we're very cautious and we're consultants. So we have 3 scenarios. One, which is very short term, you know, let's see if it happens, but if the penetration of a generative AI is very quick, you could have the type of impact on workforce, for example, that we just discussed in 2035, technically. If we do a bit slower, then the average scenarios, the most probable is 2045, and then the end scenario is 2060. But it's not, I think, the adequate way of seeing things. You will have companies that will be at the forefront of all this. For them, the impact of this will be technically 2030, 2035. Okay. For the people that have a bit more time, and we'll get to sectors in a minute, for the people that have a bit more time, yes, it will have impact in 30 years from now, 35 years from now. But the reality again is that all the people that are at the forefront will have impact in the next 10 years, 10, 15 years. Okay. And of course, it's basically a long way. Okay. If you get to 70% of the activity automated at more than 50%, 70% of the job automated at more than 50%, you have an intermediate point in 5 years, in 10 years, and so on. So that's the context. And then you could ask yourself, but why should we do it? No? Automating all that, it will imply huge reskilling. It will have implication, by the way, on many sectors, but we could say that the main sectors that will be touched will be the kind of AI native, so tech, industry, life science, banking, all these guys that have digital data in a massive way will be touched, probably the first one. So the question is a bit, why should we do that? So if you look at this, technically, you have scenarios on productivity growth, which is an indicator of the acceleration of potential economic growth in developed economies. Okay, so what you have here, technically with generative AI, is that there could be a productivity growth of 3.3% in the highest scenario. What does it mean? It is technically the equivalent of what we get in the 70s. So suddenly, all the discussion you heard about economists saying, hey, internet and digital is not exactly the same industrial revolution that we had with steam, with electricity, and so on. Suddenly, there is a possibility that we get into the steep part of the S-curve of technology, and that we may, with generative AI, moving into a productivity growth, which is the equivalent of the 70s. So quite a different kind of environment. This is why also it is important, but of course it creates a lot of issues. And the main issues are the reskilling of the workforce, because we will be most probably all of us with superpowers, so with a co-pilot. If I tell you a story, and maybe you've read that, Eric Brynjolfsson, which is the head of the Stanford AI lab, has done an experiment with a call center. It's been a while that we have chatbots and AI being used in the call center. But for the first time, they used generative AI in a call center. And they kind of codified the best practices and trained the model with the best practices of the best counselors. And they gave the co-pilot to the other ones, okay? And so they leveled the performance of the call center to the highest level. So every counselor could reach the performance of the best counselors, okay? So there is a possibility that we all have a co-pilot that enables us to be more performing in every job. So that's the dream. The other part, the obscure side of the strengths, as we say in French, le côté obscur de la force, is potentially that we are being made redundant by artificial intelligence on other types of jobs. But we have a choice. Maybe more concrete. These people are experimenting, and so sorry, it's not Alstom, they should be. But you see a bit the type of things that they're experimenting. And I think this is quite interesting because you see a lot of people are using things as we were discussing in CRM. You see a lot of people also using it for, like Novartis, in drug delivery, in R&D. There are very concrete stuff in fraud detection. And potentially also, like Netflix, in generating artwork and background, you know, to support media production. So there are many applications, but already people experimenting and already people investing at scale. A lot of discussions we have with clients is where to start. And I think, by the way, your presentation was very clear on that front. But what we advise usually to start with something very simple, like the equivalent of ChatGPT internally. So like you connect all your databases and you make an interface that permits to access to your own data in a safe way. Because as you actually mentioned, one of the key elements here is that when you put your data on a large language model, which is not yours, basically they use the data to train the model and they retain the data somehow. So you need to create a cyber secure, a safe environment to use all this. So that was some elements of context, and I think they are now a good example of the Alstom presentation. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you. I suggest moving to some questions. We will randomly select people from here, from the Zoom audience. Tina, Mira, could we also have question for your room?
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. Quite amazing. Maybe a specific question of software creation for Mohamed, right, from Alstom. I've seen a guy from India in software company explaining that already 41% of his software is generated thanks to LLM models, and that within 5 years, they expect that 100% of their software will be automatically generated. What is your point of view on such a statement?
I would say this is part of the dream, and dreams without goals will lead systematically to disappointment. This cannot be happen. Why? I prefer to say co-developer, like codex, co-developer, yes, because you know exactly what you want to achieve. If, for example, is it easy for anyone to understand what are the different algorithms to regulate a train, to move train between one station to another, to optimize the time, etc.? It's not easy. So this is the expertise, but if the expert has the knowledge and has the powerful tool in order to co-develop with it. You remember the video of my dear Shantanu was like, first version, give me this. And the tool was generating a code. And after he said, adapt that part. Then after compiling bugs, and after please fix this bug. So he is the driver. And GPT-4 for that case is the co-driver. So I don't believe that we will reach this target. And don't forget something very important for critical software, for example, for safety software, you need always to have a human in the loop, because GPT-4 text as for code generation, you can have hallucinations, you can have bias. There is some levers, some defense barriers to put in place, but this is a dream, I would say.
And to complete with this point, AI is a tool, and the human use it. And in terms of creativity, because that's our topic on our side, and entertainment, the AI will never replace creative people, because AI will never be creative. And AI can unleash the creativity, can help to create faster, better, but to be creative is the purpose of human. You need a body with some exchange with the external or with the environment around you, so you can have emotion, sentiment, everything. So a computer will never have this. So an AI won't be creative, never, but can help for a multiple way people to do it. So never the creativity will be handled by the AI. It's just a new step of creativity thanks to the AI.
Let's say the key message is augmented worker. So it means my developer will go faster, will deliver with the right quality and quickly. So time is more important than cost. I don't know for you, what is your opinion on that one? Time is more important than cost. For example, for tender execution, it's not the cost of 3 months of four players that will deliver this tender. It is, you need to deliver it right first time and quickly before your competitor. So time is very important. Yeah.
But I had a question on GPT and the fact that you need to control it, to run it, and the danger of having it running in some hyperscaler, because you want to control your data, you want to control your model, you want to control your cost. Well, as he said, if you want to create or to train your own GPT, let's say a 50 billion parameter model, you need, I don't know, something 15, 20 servers, storage network. Well, this is a $10 million entry ticket just for that, just to train your own GPT. So it's not for your local grocery. Maybe it's something that very large company can afford, but not SMBs. So what is your view on that? Is it okay to use a hyperscaler to do that kind of thing and use LLM as a service as are offered by OpenAI and Microsoft Azure, for example, or other competitive hyperscalers, or is it better to have it running on-prem under your own controls?
I suppose the question is for me?
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly.
Just maybe one comment on what you said. I think that you are right and he's right. Even if you are saying contradictory things, it seems to be contradictory, because you are taking it from the end user perspective, and you see that the generative AI can create a content, but he's taking it from the architecture, from the inside of the machine, that the AI will mimic some other creators, that they have created something and it will combine and it will propose something to you. So finally,
just like any human creator, nobody is inventing from scratch.
But mimicking. Human can create from nothing. Generative AI.
I'm not sure of that.
It is a pre-trained generative, pre-trained model. Pre-trained from what? From existing experiences.
Just like we get an education before we create anything.
Maybe. The idea is first of all to not expose like sensitive data, or you said it already, I think, in one engine that will take your data, because if there is no cost, you are the product and you will feed this model. So how you can see, how you can do it? You provision several models. This is my opinion, not one single model. Even GPT Why not GPT-4, 3.5, and all the other models? Because 4 is more costly than GPT 3.5, and you don't need 4 for all the use cases. It depends on what you want to achieve. A summarizer, for example, to summarize the text, 3.5 is enough, and even free models can do it. Okay.
Use Llama 2, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Falcon, exactly. Llama is very good also for many use cases. So it depends on what you want to achieve. And you need to lead this comparative and benchmarking at your own enterprise, inside your enterprise with real data, as I did, for example, for quality of the specifications. And we were comparing, pushing like very complex specifications, thousands and thousands, and to see how they are rephrased, the best fit is that. So I would say you need also to have some defense in depth barriers to avoid hallucination, bias, legal issues, plenty of things. These barriers can be put in place when you have an in-house application that you have developed. For instance, we have developed License. I will give just some secrets on how we are doing this rephraser to rewrite the specification. First of all, I will give a specification, more or less with low quality. I will give it to iSense itself with open source models to ask iSense to do its best to rephrase it and to write it in a good shape. Based on what? Not on the pre-trained model, which is generic and public one. On the fine-tuned model, or let's say that on the top of the GPT or the other LLMs models, we have our fine-tuned models built with our data. Then after, if I am satisfied, if I'm not satisfied, I will look several times with my own model. If it is giving me satisfaction, I will exit. If it is not giving me satisfaction, last thing I will do, I will give it to GPT to pay for it. Another tip, for example, for you.
Last one.
Last one. Sorry for that. Last one is, for example, when it comes to question answering. You know that each time you are texting GPT, you will pay for it. So why not, for example, put in parallel another model that will store the couples of question and answers, and after you build another model for free. Whenever it comes to one question, you have 100. I have 100,000 employees in Alstom, so the models they will ask the same questions. So I will take from that without paying anything. But if the question is original, atypical, not stored, etc., I will give it to GPT. So all about the functional architecture and the tactical architecting.
Thank you, Mohammed.
You're welcome.
Thank you, and thanks for all. So thanks you all, and once again, thanks to ESA Business School for co-hosting the event, and to all of you there. Have nice showrooms with Johnny and the Game Cooks team. Quant à nous, on peut revenir au français là entre nous. Donc je vous propose de rejoindre. En fait, il y a un cocktail et également il y a 2 showrooms. Donc nous allons avoir HEC avec un headset qui est notre partenaire Metaverse. Franck, coucou, je l'avais pas vu. On a aussi un très très bon, enfin je pense qu'un des meilleurs Metaverse, c'est celui d'Alstom. La prochaine fois, il faudra me le montrer. Vraiment très très bon Metaverse. J'étais il y a 2 jours d'ailleurs dans votre Metaverse à la réunion training. Merci. Donc il y aura donc HEC dans cette chambre, dans cette salle avec les headsets. Ils vont vous montrer un Metaverse avec un peu augmenté avec du Gen AI. Et à droite, on a donc Olivier qui va pouvoir nous montrer un peu plus concrètement la démo d'Ivy. Voilà. Merci à tous.